March 2023, a group of researchers formed the Truth Mafia, a collective determined to investigate conspiracies and occult mysteries that have been buried for centuries. With a passion for uncovering the truth, they delve into the darkest corners of history, pop culture, and ancient mysteries, seeking answers to questions that have plagued humanity for ages. The Truth Mafia is led by Truthful, a man shrouded in mystery and intrigue, dedicated to uncovering the hidden truths behind some of the world's most perplexing and enigmatic phenomena. Their research has led them down countless rabbit holes, from deciphering ancient symbols to exploring the hidden meanings behind popular media and literature. Despite the risks and challenges they face, the Truth Mafia remains steadfast in their quest for knowledge. Will their investigations lead to groundbreaking revelations, or will they unravel an even deeper web of secrets and lies? Only time will tell in this ongoing saga of conspiracy and intrigue.
Welcome, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to the first episode of The Arcade with Tommy Truthful and Jay Dreams. This is streaming to all my platforms and my brother Jay Dreams' YouTube. So, special shout out to all Jay's followers out there. We're going to get into some really cool subjects today. We're going to talk about the new trending series, Get Gotti, and the occult connections to the Raven, just like we seen when we did that members only podcast on the fall of the House of Usher, which we had the Raven symbolism heavily encoded in that series as well. And where did John Gotti get caught? At the Raven Night Club. That's where they wired it up to catch Mr. Gotti. And my partner in crime today is my brother from another mother, Jay Dreams.
Aloha.
What's up, Jay Dreamers? I always call you Jay Dreams too.
That's fine with me.
How you doing today, bro?
Good, dude. Crazy stuff happening in the world, dude. So many interesting things to talk about and get into. Especially with this connection, like you were saying, with the bowling alley and the Raven.
Oh, it's pretty fascinating. A lot of people don't realize that there's actually a secret language out there of symbols and numbers. And the elites, they speak it fluently. So, Confucius once said, the world is controlled by symbols, not the laws of man. And I mean, he couldn't have been more right, Brother Jay. When you decode your truth in movies, you're showing a lot of symbolism and esoteric connections as well. And then we're going to also get into today this connection to the sun and the solar maximum. And, it's kind of funny, Jay. When we were growing up, brother, the sun, I remember it being this real pretty orange color. And now it's like bright white. Looks like a flashlight or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super bright compared to what it used to be. I always talk about that on my channel, and I tell people, like, dude, what color did you grab to draw the sun when you were a kid, right? Like, did you ever grab the white crayon and, scribble in a white sun? That's ridiculous. Plus, the further back in time you go, the more the color of the sun as it's depicted changes. You know what I mean? Like a long time ago, they drew it red. They drew the sun red.
Now
it wasn't to symbolize like the sunset or anything.
That's very interesting, Brother Jay. And so there was a time called the Golden Age, and shout out to all Jay's people in the chat. We see you guys. Thank you for being here. And I like your little black goo picture right there, my friend. But so the ancient times, Jay, they would talk about the sun was, well, they would say Saturn or show symbolism of Saturn. But you had a different theory on that and what you believed the sun to be with the connection to Saturn.
Yeah, totally. So I believe that there's different light sources as we go through these different epics and periods and stuff like that. So right now we have two main light sources, which is the moon, or the luminary that we call the moon, and then the luminary that we call the sun. And then of course there's stars and stuff like that that are lesser. But whenever we go into another, basically after the apocalypse, right? Whenever we go through a shift and all that stuff changes. Sorry if you hear the train. then there's different light sources, right? That the conditions in this world change that allow for different light sources or suns or whatever. And there's one huge main one at the top of the firmament, basically, that glows like a red spectrum color. And there's other types of light and stuff like that too. But basically, I believe that because in the modern age, we're only used to that point of focus in the sky being called the sun, that if we look back on examples where they were depicting different suns, that we wouldn't comprehend that, or we have not comprehended it collectively. Mainstream academics takes what we're used to today and they project it upon ancient history, and they project it upon the past, and they assume presumptively that that the way things are today are the way that they've always been. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's definitely very interesting. So like with the whole global warming thing, brother Jay, we go through these periods, right? With the sun, these cycles is what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, these different cycles. There's a lot of things that are happening in this world, and the world's constantly changing and in motion and stuff. So the pressure is increasing in our atmosphere. The sun is constantly going through a color spectrum shift, right? Which helps to explain things like why a lot of people have heard that the color blue never existed. Did you hear that?
Yes, that is a very interesting theory too. I've looked
Yeah,
into it deeply.
that's why I think blue didn't exist, is because if you shift the color spectrum of the light sources that's giving us color, right? Then it's going to shift the colors of everything, and which colors can appear and which colors cannot exist yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that and guys, and for the people in the comments, that's a really cool subject to look into. That the color blue didn't exist. The ancients that they've talked about it. I mean, it's not just some conspiracy. A lot of people looked into this subject, and it's very fascinating. Now, what Jay's talking about here, I want to show you guys something. Let me share my screen with you really fast. So over here on truthmafia.com, I just dropped an article this morning, to be exact. There's several new articles up, okay? The one, me and Donut did a video last night, and then here's a 10-minute clip on it. And it gets into, we're going to get into that one too. It gets into the whole bowling alley and everything, which we're going to touch on that very respectfully. But, oh, sorry, guys. Let me turn my phone off. Apologize for that. Leave it to me to leave my phone on. Sun's intense surge. How will blackouts, flights, hiccup, and more shape our world with this solar cycles that we're going through? Now, in this article, I linked the article that I used as a source to rewrite this information, and it just came out today. And in that article, they was talking about studies suggest that after a prolonged dormant phase, the sun is becoming more active, possibly reaching peak intensity by year's end. This cycle, termed solar maximum, reoccurs roughly every 11 years. During these phases, the sun emits intense energy bursts called solar flares, and the sun's face becomes dotted with an increased number of sunspots, potentially leading to more solar storms and higher electromagnetic energy release, potentially disrupting our power grid. Go back to the Carrington event. Jay, do you have anything on the Carrington event, brother?
Yeah. So me personally, I believe that that our world goes through various electromagnetic fluxes. Oh, wait, can you scroll down a little bit? I want to see what was on that kid's forehead.
Oh, this is about the plasma apocalypse. I wrote about the plasma apocalypse on here in Gravity Falls, and
Interesting. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah. I think you'll find this very fascinating that they called it the rapture. And, a lot of this information comes from you, Jay.
Yeah, the Beast with a Billion Backs episode, or whatever that's called.
The Ghostbusters episode.
Nice.
You,
Yeah.
you brought that up millions of times. I'm not going to play it, but just to kind of scroll through and show the people.
Right.
It's exactly what Jay says, where this like portal opens up in the sky above them where they're trying to take out the Marshmallow Man. Where's it? Where's that? Right there. There's a giant portal opening in the sky, and
Yeah.
even when they're shooting him, Jay, with that stuff, it looks like plasma that they're hitting them with, brother.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. They're hitting him with plasma, and they're not just fighting the Marshmallow Man. That's the other. What was that god? Zool. That's Zool, actually. So that's
Oh,
yeah. So check this out. They're fighting this god entity that comes up out of that portal out of the sky. Right? There's always a portal in the sky and a beam that shoots up out of the ground or goes down to the ground or whatever. And they said, choose the form of the destroyer. They're fighting this god creature, this woman called Zool, right? And she's super powerful. And in order to fight them, she says that they have to choose the form that they see Zool as whenever they fight her or whatever. So the one guy thinks of the Marshmallow Man because it's supposed to be like, not very, it's fluffy or whatever, right?
right.
And Zool represents the apocalypse. And then it says, the movie is saying, like, you all have to choose the form of how you remember this event. You know what I mean? You have to, it's just like in the never ending story when the kid has to, in order to save Fantasia, he has to give the princess a new name or whatever. He has to name it. He has to put a new description, a new name tag, a new personification of the event, create a new god or whatever, like this is where all these like religions spring from, basically.
So that's how they remember this in this depiction, kind of, right? I mean, and that's crazy. The average person would look at this and just think, oh, it's a Ghostbusters episode. But there's so much symbolism in it that actually connects it to an actual event. These resets, these global resets. And it's not just, it's the reset of knowledge, guys. It's where the victor of war holds the pen to history, right? So they literally because you can hold a lot of power over someone if you know the true knowledge of the universe, the cosmos, and they don't. You
Yeah.
understand how these cycles happen, when they happen. You can create events to line up with it to make it look like, just say, for example, if you knew when this is going to happen, you could make it look like the rapture, right?
Yeah.
Which there is a lot of connections to the rapture with this event. And I'm not saying nothing about the rapture. I love all religions. And I'm a big, firm believer in freedom of religion and freedom of, all that. But me personally, I'm not religious. I just, but I would give my life for people that are religious. But we see it in Norse mythology. We see the symbolism over and over again, bro. I think, Jay, there's something connected to this whole transhumanist agenda where they want to download our consciousness to an artificial construct. And so maybe they know this event's happening, right? And
Yeah.
this is a way for them to keep power after the event. For anybody that dies off, they're creating a quantum copy of your soul. So when you die in the physical, you wake up in this quantum reality that they've created. And with the D-Wave quantum computer and CERN, they're literally opening a portal to something. And remember when Gordy Rose said that they are releasing the Lovecraftian old ones?
Yeah.
That's what that reminds me of.
That's what that is. I mean, from my perspective, that's exactly what it is. Like, this stuff is so obtuse. Like, this is so in your face. It's so obvious when certain things are. I mean, to me, it's so obvious. Like when you realize that many of these things revolve around the cyclical cataclysms that reset this world, and why the nobility and the people that run the world and have run the world for thousands of years, it everything ties into survival. Everything ties into carrying on of knowledge after the apocalypse, or escaping and prepping for the apocalypse, so that they don't, either so that they don't die if they stay here, or if they take off and they prep and they get ready all their technology so that they can leave this world. You know what I mean?
And
And
get out
move
through
on.
the portal, through the rift, the galactic rift that's opening up.
Yes.
And the firmament, they're going to try to get up out of there. I mean, bro, they're even putting it in video games. And, I got this article from this dude on Reddit. Now, of course, I rewrote the article in my own words, right? And reworded it myself. But the original work came from this dude over on Reddit right here. And it was just so fascinating. But when you share something, you can't just copy and paste it. Unfortunately, you'll get copyright striked and a whole bunch of stuff. So I had to rewrite it in my words. But I linked him to the original article, and then of course I added a whole bunch of other stuff to it. But yeah, man, it was fascinating. I thought you would like this one, Jay. I'm
Yeah,
like,
totally. That's bro. All of that's really cool. The constellation on his forehead is really what got my attention, because there's a couple that look like that, but most people would think it's the Big Dipper, but there's actually there's like a little dipper at the North Pole. There's a constellation that looks very much like that, but it's really small.
yeah, and
And
that's
that's
where
the pole star at the very end.
gravity will cease momentarily, which that's when the depressurization happens, right? And
Yeah.
this series is called Gravity Falls, bro.
Yeah. Which means gravity flips around. It's a reversal, right? So
Oh,
when
that's
gravity is normal, I mean, whatever alleged gravity, when it's normal, things come down. But when gravity falls, that means things float. Everything floats, and you'll float too.
right. And yes, alleged gravity, because we don't really believe NASA too much, but they was talking about that in this original article too, about the poles shifting. That's part of the article. So that when they're talking about these 11-year cycles and solar flares, they also mention that during this event it can cause the poles to shift. So I'm like, whoa, they're even saying that in a mainstream article now. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? That's pretty crazy. They wouldn't have said that a
right.
while back, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the mainstream, I feel like it's going to get to the point where they have to acknowledge it, but they'll just dismiss it like it's not that big a deal. Like, oh, this happens all the time. We had a pole shift the other day and you didn't even realize it. It was so tiny, or you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
trying to like really minimize it.
Yeah, that's what they. If you really read it, they're like, we have these magnetic flips, and it won't end the world, but it can cause a lot. Well, some of these magnetic flips have taken out 90% of the population. So what are you
Yes.
talking about?
And every religion and all these ancient scriptures and prophecies and stuff, they don't say, hey, don't worry about the apocalypse. It's not going to be that big a deal. Like it's the
No.
exact opposite. They say, be prepared, get your family out. Like look at Jesus talks about the apocalypse all the time. Like his followers, that's the main thing. They're like, hey, Jesus, talk about the apocalypse some more. Tell us some more about the apocalypse. Like nobody, none of the wise people of the past ever said, oh yeah, this happens every so often, not really that big a deal, you won't even notice it, you'll probably, no. They all say it's going to scare the crap out of you, it's going to be a big deal, it's going to kill a lot of people, be prepared, get ready, always be ready. This is huge. And then it also says at the same
Nothing to
time,
fear, though, right, Jay?
no, I'm not no, I'm well,
Be
not
prepared, not
yeah,
fear.
yeah, no. Okay, so check this out. There will be something to fear for those who have no idea, and they're caught off guard and they're surprised. They will be terrified. But for
Yes.
us who have knowledge, right? Who have a glimpse of what's to come, the more knowledge we have, and the more truth that we attain in pertaining to that subject, the end of the world or whatever, the less it eradicates fear. I find myself getting excited. I'm like, man, I can't wait. Like, heck yeah. Like, I'm not going to be afraid at all. I mean, I might be a little afraid, like a healthy dose of being afraid, like Jesus Christ, I'm not going where all that lightning is or whatever, like that keeps me alive,
Yes.
but not so afraid. You know what I mean? That like panicking, not knowing what to do, people having heart attacks and passing out. And no, I'm going to be in like alert mode. You know what I mean? Like, hey, it's going down. I know what's going on right now. It's happening. I know what,
Stock
I've
up
got, I've
on
got I've got a
food.
good idea of how to like make it, as
Me
opposed to
too.
other people that just scatter and have no idea what to do.
Well, me and you, we definitely need to link up, bro. We gotta get our whole Truth Mafia team. We gotta get a plan, which me and Donut got a little plan, not much, but a little tiny one. If stuff pops off, we got to meet up, have a location to meet up, and we got to make sure we get all the food, take over all the food production places, and make sure our kids, because I got kids, bro. I'm not about to be out here watching my kids starve to death. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the first thing I'm going to do is protect my family, my loved ones. And I was thinking this, Jay, when all this chaos is going on down here, we should get one. You can up here where I live. I'm in Canton, Ohio, guys, in the 330. It's by Akron. You can rent these big balloons up here. They're kind of like a freaking um a hover balloon, I think is what they're called, but they have propellers, bro, and they're called these party type balloons, like the Goodyear blimp, but with propellers on them. And they sleep 12 people comfortably. Like, I'm talking, it looks like a luxury hotel. We get a couple of them, bro. We pack them with food and enough stuff, and you could stay up for 2 weeks on this thing. So we stay up until all the craziness is over, and then we fly somewhere where no one's at. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere warm because the poles will shift. So, do you think it'll be crazy up in the air when it's going on too?
Yeah.
Like 1,000-mile winds.
So check this out. So if the atmosphere of our world depressurizes, like I believe so far that it will, there's going to be wind like you never even heard of before. Like it's going to
Yeah.
be a worldwide storm during the actual apocalyptic event. All that air is going to be twisting around and getting sucked upwards and outwards. Also, some of it's going to be redirected and come back down in huge downdrafts, which you have to be careful of as well. But afterwards, whenever everything reaches equilibrium and all that air goes out and the atmosphere is depressurized or whatnot, the electromagnetics recover. They go back up, right? Which prevents any cosmic winds or, plasma or anything from coming back in or from continuing to enter in. But then there's a stillness. There won't be wind. There won't be wind for a long time because that pressure needs to build back up, unless it's wind coming from the Zephyr or the underworld, basically, as it does. The underworld depressurizes up here to the surface. But I believe it's going to be real calm, real quiet, real still. Like that song, The Sound of Silence, Have you heard that
Yes.
one? That's what that's all about. Like that whole song is all about the
So my
apocalypse.
idea of going up in these crafts is kind of out the window.
Well, no, I wouldn't say so. I think you could probably still make it happen. We're going to be thrown back into like a steampunk mentality. You know what I mean? Some people will be more of a caveman mentality. Other people will be kind of a steampunk. You'll be able to build, make balloons and stuff like that.
Book of Eli.
You just have to create your own wind. That's all. You just can't use the winds that are already up there because there probably won't be any.
Wow. Yeah, it's going to be crazy, man. So, yeah, well, maybe after the event happens, we go underground and then we get the balloon after it's over and dip out because it's going to be chaos, dude. I'm talking people are going to be cannibalistic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to be crazy. Listen,
Yeah.
they said if the power grid goes down within a year, 90% of America would die, the whole population.
I believe it.
That's
Yeah.
kind of nuts because these people, they've been raised by their cell phones. And, when we was kids, I'm an 80s baby, 1983. This is how my mom raised us. Get outside and don't come in till the street light's on. We wasn't even allowed back in
Right.
till the street light came on, So these kids nowadays, Jay, they're raised by their cell phone. It's a very cushy, nice living. They all win trophies now. They're all in their little safe bubbles. You're not allowed to say nothing crazy to them, nothing. So I don't see I don't see their generation surviving, bro. And I also have a theory that Generation X is the last generation that will grow to an old age. Generation X.
Yeah, that's also been prophesied too. So for example, in the Bible, it talks about how the day would come whenever a person's considered a child all the way up until they're 100 years old.
Oh, wow. For real?
Yeah. So like I see us all as being children. Like I don't care how old a person is in this world, unless you're over 100 years old, you're a child to me. Like we just have an advanced aging disease, basically. Going through puberty way too early and stuff like that, and our lifespans are really short. But the day will come when our true lifespans. Well, this is also our true lifespan, but the day will come where we recover what people have been searching for this whole time, which is called immortality, or in, you know, lengthened lifespans, where we live, where regeneration is restored to this world electromagnetically or magically or by God or however, it doesn't matter. All that matters is that people live much longer, hundreds and hundreds of years. You know what I mean? Like this brings us back like the world will be different. So different that it will be fantastic. It will be Wonderland. Okay. This right here that we live in right now is a story. This is strange. This is the weird place. Okay. It's just that we're used to it. We're accustomed to it. It's normal to us. But I swear on everything that the day will come after the apocalypse. Those who survive will tell stories of stuff that just happened on a regular daily basis in this world, and it will blow the minds of the future civilizations. And they'll write stories about it, and they'll talk about it, and they'll, you know, draw pictures of it and stuff like that. And they'll try to figure it out and interpret it in their own ways and stuff like that. Like, this is the weird world. We're going
Oh,
back
yeah.
to the way things should be, which is energetically charged. And, you know, the thing that interests the most today in movies and books and fiction and sci-fi and all that stuff, that's why we like it. That's the truth inside of it, is that all of those things happen. All those things are possible, and they come back around, and it's coming back around.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you too. I think you're 100% right with that. This world that we're in now is like the clown reality, right? I mean, look at everything going on right now, which we're about to get into a couple of these subjects. We're going to talk about the series Get Gotti. We're also going to talk about, I'm going to be very careful how I address it, but we're going to talk about the incident that took place at the bowling alley. And guys, anyone that follows me, you know, I warned in August when me and Donut did that video. Shout out to my brother, Donut Factory. When we did that video warning about the Ember months, and we are now in the Ember months, September, October, November, December. What did I say would happen? I said a shooting event, and look where we're at now. And
Yeah.
in the last week, bro, this was the 36th one, I might add too. The 36th mass shooting of the year. And why does that matter? Well, 666 is the 36th triangular number. This year is Hamas's 36-year anniversary. It's also the 36-year anniversary of the patent of HARP, since they patent HARP technology in 1987, the same year Hamas was formed. And then we have all this weather stuff going on. We have all this stuff going on between Israel and Palestine. And this week, guys, from October 16th until the 22nd, and remember, I warned about the 23rd, which we had a major event on the 36th parallel in Tennessee on the 23rd. Now, it broke on the news on the 25th, and 2 police officers lost their life. But that week is 318 deaths, guys. Now, using gematria for some of the new people like Jay's followers that are in this live, this comes from Jewish Kabbalah mysticism, going back to Babylon. The elites have a secret language of symbols and numbers. So using the Latin cipher, which is also known as the Jewish cipher, you got 318 is red herring and clues. Now, what is the definition of a red herring? A clue or a piece of information that is or is intended to be misleading or distracting. I mean, there you go. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
kind
Who
of
was that? Man, that shooter looks like Ryan Reynolds. Was it?
Well, his initials are RC, bro. RC. And RC, remember the Georgia Guidestones wrote the RC
Oh, yeah.
Christian and the Rosicrucian order. There's this crazy connection going on with this RC right now as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Well,
very.
I don't even know this story. Is it supposed to be some random deal? Like, why does he have a sniper rifle? Like,
I don't.
this
I
doesn't
don't.
seem, you know.
And guess what RC is in the Fibonacci cipher, Jay? Which is the God's fingerprint,
What?
brother.
I don't know.
36.
36.
Oh
Dang.
yeah, of course it is. And it's the 36th shooting of the year. I just broke down all that 36. And for any of you new people on here, let me show you here. You can go over to, I got 2 websites, truthmafia.com and then truthfultv.com. This is my kind of social media platform. If you want to book a reading, you come over here on Truthful TV, and you can use the gematria calculator. So you can see there's all these different ciphers. Now, this is pretty much God's fingerprint, right? The Fibonacci cipher. And boom, RC 36. Right there it is. I mean, you can't make it up. Also, RC is 21 in ordinal, which is A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, all the way through Z is 26. That's just the basic English ordinal alphabet, right? And 21 is war, evil. We all know about Agenda 21, so, and then in Sumerian, look what it is, guys. 126. When did the shooting happen? On October 26, 126. And that 126 number is very big because if you remember correctly, Kobe Bryant, it popped off in January 26. January 26, Kobe dies, right? And then you got the 83, which I never even noticed till right now. Hold on, let me shut this off. And that connects to element, I can't pronounce it right, element 36, which is crypto. How do you pronounce that? You know what I'm talking about? Here, I got it right here.
Kryptonite? I don't know.
It's very similar to kryptonite. So in this article over on Truth Mafia, I did a blog on my boy Donut did a 10-minute video, and I got it in here. What it's called, element 36,
Bro,
which the atomic weight of it is 83.
I would love to. We should definitely sometime like maybe break down that movie Knowing together, because I want to see what you do with those numbers on that piece of paper and all those numbers that coincide. You know what I mean?
Let's do it. I am so down for that. I want to do it ASAP too. I've been trying to get
that.
Yeah, whoever in the comments wants to see us break down Knowing. Remember Knowing? It's all about these numbers. The numbers, they do that time capsule, and then there's all these numbers on the paper, and most people don't.
Yeah,
they're like, "What is this?" But then he starts to figure them out, and all the numbers it's like 9/11 and major terrorist events and all.
I'll bet you can see all those other patterns too, because in the movie they kind of want you to focus on like only certain, like these ones that we circled. I'll bet you could see stuff in all of those numbers that they put in there, dude.
Yeah, when I was a kid at school, bro, I just I was never good at anything. Like I wasn't good at writing or none of that, but I was in advanced classes for mathematics my whole life, and just numbers, I don't know, they just make sense to me. It's like it's the universal language, we live in some type of simulation. Everything's encoded with numbers. But bowling is 36 too, guys, and it's called krypton, element 36 krypton, which you see the atomic weight of it, 83, and the guy's initials equal 83. So this element krypton, first of all, the bowling pins, this gets into the Pythagorean, I'm not even going to try to say this part, tetracatus, I can't pronounce it, but that's the shape of the bowling pins, right? Which lines up to 10. And so it's also the image of the pyramid, right? The Illuminati pyramid right there.
Right. And Krypton's the planet where Superman came from. I know that.
There you go. There's that whole connection. And bowling being 36 in keypad gematria, the 36 mass shooting of the year. I already mentioned the part about Hamas and heart. Well, check this part out. So Just in Time is the name of the bowling alley. Just in Time. So the name of the bowling alley equates to 923 in standard gematria. And remember all the predictive programming of September 23rd, which we did have an event on September 23rd. We had this major storm in Oklahoma that looked like portals opening up in the sky. And you can see them images on my Facebook page, Truth Mafia. It's the one, it's got over 70,000 followers. But so check this out. From 923, September 23rd, that 923 number, that Osiris number, until the shooting on the 26th was exactly 33 days, guys. And the earthquake equals 923 in the same cipher. And I believe we're preparing for a significant earthquake caused by HARP, or what else could make the ground shake? Well, the element 36, krypton. The name krypton is derived from the Greek word kryptos, meaning the hidden one. So the hidden one, and another event that can cause the earth to shake, is a nuclear detonation. Krypton is one of the products of uranium fusion. You know what I'm saying? So could
Right.
it be predictive programming of an upcoming nuclear event? And then there's a whole connection to the symbolism of rolling the bowling ball and the pens blowing up and all that too. There's some symbolism there with explosions. So these are the two events that I'm looking for, guys. A major earthquake or America getting striked with a nuclear event. And this has to do also with the twin eclipses making the X over America over the New Madrid fault line, right? So, for anyone new here, real quick, let me show you this. Twin eclipses, twin eclipse.
I was looking at this article on it. Do you know if they found that dude, or is it a
Over New
manhunt
Madrid
and they're
fault
still
line.
looking for him?
No, I don't know. Hold on a second, but I will tell you
Okay.
this. Um, they said he was hearing voices, and I'm going to get into all that, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because that's voice to skull technology, V2K technology, and all that. So check this out. This eclipse, guys. Oops, sorry. It goes right over the New Madrid fault line. And this person wrote an amazing article on it showing the connection to what happened in 2017, where we had this astrological alignment that fulfilled Bible prophecy, right? The and then we had that major solar eclipse that year in 2017 that made the first X across America. Now this final X is coming on 4/8, the next eclipse. See, it goes right over the New Madrid fault. So we had this one 41 days after this one. Las Vegas incident happened. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then yeah, man, there's some crazy connections to John Gotti with this 482, brother. Uh, Let me show you that really quick, and then I'll come right back to this part because it gets into voice to skull technology
Yeah.
in this article where they just said this. They just released this morning that Donut was talking about it yesterday, so he must have found another article earlier though. That this guy, that the shooter was hearing voices, guys, before his family was trying to help him, right? And
Wow, this is interesting.
look at his name, Robert Card,
Card. Yeah.
RC, Robert Card. I bet there's something there too with that. I didn't even look at his name to tell you the truth. Let me see what he's got. Oh wow. And Donut was talking about this 32 number in his broadcast yesterday, the 32 pathways and the key symbolism connected to Polaris and that keyhole at the Mandalay Bay, which happened 41 days after the first eclipse. What floor was the shooter on, guys? 32. 32. And right outside of the elevator, you'll see this giant keyhole. And that gets into the keyhole symbolism connected to Polaris and these portals opening up. Kind of what me and Jay Dream are talking about with the whole plasma apocalypse situation. Here, I'll show you real quick. It looks a lot better if I show you. Hold on 1 second. All right, let me click on. I'm not going to play his video, even though I could. He wouldn't care. Hold on. Just going to go past here like this. Okay. So my brother Donut is showing, look, the 33 shoes, and it happens 33 days after 923. Remember, we were supposed to have a big event on 923, and then nothing happens. Which, if you watch my original decode, I said something would happen 5 days later, and then I thought the 23rd. So I was 3 days off. Remember, guys, I said the 23rd, the shooting happened, and I said the shooting. It happened 3 days later on the 26th. So I was 3 days off. I was pretty close. But 5 days later, we had that whole incident within that weekend right there with Israel and Palestine. So, that was very close to that event as well. Uh, or that was, no, my apologies. That was the 929 event, which was the 69-year anniversary of CERN. I had them 2 days mixed up in my head. The one, or was it 923? I'll have to go back and look. Don't quote me on that part. But anyways, we see the 32 and the 33 with the bowling alley shoes, right?
Right.
And I just showed you what his name equals, 32 in the Chaldean cipher, which is based on the 1 through 8. This is the oldest gematria cipher. It goes back to the Chaldeans, the Sumerians, the Mesopotamians, and they didn't use the number 9 because they thought it was so divine, so they would leave it out of everything. But
Right.
That's 1 through 8, which adds up to what? 36. The 36. The Chaldean cipher is based on that 36 number. And here's the symbolism of Polaris. It all ties in. That 32 number ties into Polaris, the 8-pointed star, this symbol that we see opening up of the portals and the gateways, which I'm sure you could have some stuff on that, brother. Look at the bowling alley. It's got the 8-pointed star. And the Super Bowl, where is it going to be, guys? In Las Vegas. So what does Las Vegas have when you're going to Las Vegas, Jay? What do you see real big on the way into Las Vegas, brother?
Luxor?
Well, yeah, you see that too, but also you do
that
see
big
that
eyeball building?
The 8-pointed star, brother.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
The
The
8-pointed
sign.
star. Yeah. It's
Vegas
right there,
sign.
man. It's a huge 8-pointed star, and this gets into portals and that whole portal symbolism, the opening up of the gateways, which ties into CERN, that has the 8 bars going around inside of CERN and the 8 spokes on the wheel in the Vatican. And if you look into cuneiform in Inanna's name, this Saturina star, the star of Inanna, the star of Ishtar, the star of Isis, Inanna's name in cuneiform is the 8. In my opinion, I think Nibiru is a dimension they're opening up. This portal that Jay talks about. And what do they call Nibiru? The crossing. It's when people could cross over from one dimension to another. That's my little theory on it. Jay, do you think I'm far off with that?
No, I totally agree. It's definitely a place of crossing over, and it indicates portals, doors, doorways, the keyhole, paths,
Very interesting.
roads.
So that's all the symbolism we're seeing with the shooting. So what are they really showing us esoterically, right? We could get into all the other parts of it, and who really cares about that? I like the deeper meanings, like what are they really trying to show me?
You see that picture right there where it says the Star of Ishtar, and it's got like the bull's horns?
Yes, sir.
So that's the original moon. Like there's a crescent that goes around that depressurization point, and that's Nana, or that's Inanna, or whatever. And that's where we get the fruit banana from. It's named after that. It's like Nana, which is what the B part means. It means like Nana, or like the moon, basically.
Oh,
so that's
wow.
why it looks like that. That's why the banana is called that, because it's crescent shaped like the moon, and the moon goddess's name is Nana. So it's like Nana or banana.
Well, you see that the flag there that looks like the Union Jack. That's my ancestor heritage. The Basque. I'm RH negative on my mother's side. Well, actually, me and my son are RH null, which is way more rare than RH negative. And our bloodline can be traced back 1,000 years to even the Spanish nobility, and it's in our Basque heritage. Which then on my other side, I'm Sicilian. But even my Basque side, it's got a lot of Irish royalty in it. And I found out through research, the same people that conquered Spain, the Iberian Peninsula, conquered Ireland and Scotland. And it's the same Gaelic speaking tribes, which ties back to Tartaria and all that, interestingly. Some people think Tartaria wasn't real. I disagree. I think it was real.
Right. That blows my mind.
Everybody has their own opinion on some things, and that's cool, you know.
Right? Yeah, I told you.
My opinion is that it was very real, and that was one of their, man. We got 600 people in here right now, and that's not even counting our Rumble, bro. Shout out to all them 600 people. Smash that like button. We're getting into a pretty cool episode today. So yeah, man, that it's tied to them global resets, Jay,
Yeah,
and the
and
reset of information, brother.
I totally agree. And even with the reset itself or the apocalypse, like it says real, real is in the mind of the believer. Real is in the mind of those who experience what they perceive to be real. You know what I mean? So I'm just focusing on my real and allowing others to vibe with, whatever vibes, whatever. If something that is real to me vibes with something that's real to you, then we get together, we talk about it, and we experience that realness together. You know what I mean? And if it's not real to someone else, but it's real to me, sweet. Let like attract like, and let them go find what's real to them. And it's not for me to insist what is real or not real to other people. But I will tell you, and I'm going to share my path with all those who vibe at a similar level. You know what I mean? Um, and it gets back to the resets and the apocalypse and the big secret. Like that's the big secret why they keep on hushing and saying don't talk about it or whatever. There is a huge secret, and basically there's, like we were
Hey,
saying earlier, there's a grand conspiracy theory, or there's a grand theory of everything that is happening that's behind the scenes will make sense if truly it's all connected, which I believe it is.
have you watched my buddy Yubo on Truth Mafia? Because he talks about that all the time. The big secret. Why are they always going? Shh. Shout out to my boy Yubo. He's cool, man. He's got a little YouTube.
Yeah,
I think he's got like 30,000 followers or something. But
yeah, I'll check them out.
yeah, he's a young kid, man. He's always talking about that, Jay. The big secret. What
That's the
is the
that's the
big
secret, dude.
secret?
That's what I think it is. It's the reset. It's the apocalypse. It helps to explain everything, where the nobility comes from,
Yep.
where especially getting back to the Tartarians and the Aryans and various other like legendary ancient tribes of people and nations and families and stuff like that carry on, and we see their children, their miscreant, freaking lost children, out of control. They've lost most of the control. You know what I mean? Like it's a pyramid structure. So those people who are lower down on that pyramid, they're still leaders who are in control. So at the top, you've got like the invisible people who you don't even know their names and stuff. They're beyond rich. Money doesn't even matter to them. They deal in energetic, currency, which is
Life
exchanged.
extension
Yeah,
technology and stuff
yeah.
like that. And guys, I misspoke on this image. I guess this was Donut was showing. This ain't the actual bowling alley. This is from Hollywood Star Lanes, the big, because he was tying this into
Yeah,
um, that thing there. But
the Big
and
Lebowski.
yeah, but it does get into the bowling alley right here just in time. And Jacob Israel mentioned the mass shooter pictured outside the doors. Bowling, its mural looks like blood splatter, and the front doors shot. This my
Oh
boy.
yeah,
That is kind of crazy.
that is creepy.
Doesn't it look like blood splatter?
It sure does.
Wow, dude, that's bizarre. Great catch, Jacob. He's on the Truth
Yeah,
Mafia.
and there's a little checkerboard floor on that balloon back there.
Yep, of course
Like
there
I
is.
can't tell what the rest of that is, but that's interesting.
Oh man, look at all that symbolism there. And it's the blue color, the color we just seen with Hawaii, remember? And a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
people don't realize, Jay, right now, this is the 50-year anniversary since the Yom Kippur War in 73. Well, Hawaii was the 50th state. And on 8/11, the day harp was patented, that's the same day hip hop was founded. And we're in the 50-year anniversary of that. So there's this big 50 number going around too right now, which is we see heavily connected to this whole blue code. I haven't totally figured it out yet. Still working on that, but yeah, man, there's
Yeah,
something.
and then
Look
the
at the
blue.
blue. It's everywhere.
Yeah. The blue, they got the blue there. We're going from the time whenever there was no blue to the time where blue makes a return in the form of two different entities. One is the Antichrist energy. One
Yep.
is the Christ energy or whatever, which takes the form of blue light or whatnot.
Yep.
So we go to the time when everything was more red spectrum, and we shift across time into the blue spectrum. And I did I ever share my theory with you about like why the blue stuff doesn't get burned and stuff?
You might have, but go ahead. Re-enlighten me.
Okay. So if it's let's assume that the sun is getting brighter and therefore hotter, and therefore it's changing its color spectrum, right? After white light comes blue light when it gets really hot. Even in academics, when they talk about the stars, the blue ones are always the hottest ones, the red ones are the coolest ones, right? So if the sun is putting out more blue light, and that blue light is the hotter of all of the light that it puts out, right? And then you have something that's blue, it just reflects that right back. It doesn't absorb it, it doesn't burn or anything, you know what I mean? Because it's the same frequency. So it shoots it right back out. It just reflects it.
So that's why it
So the
doesn't burn.
blue's color itself just acts as a shield to the blue light because it just reflects it right back. Like a mirror or something.
Oh wow, that's very. Oh my God, are you kidding me right now? Hold on a second. Let me make sure I got that right, because I feel like I can't be right. I gotta be tripping right now. Is that what that says?
What?
Choose your weapon on the door.
Oh, wow.
Choose your weapon. So this is the 36 mass shooting, guys, right? Oh, well, that's interesting, because what does choose your weapon equal? 1987. When was Hart patented? 8/11 of 1987. When was Hamas patent, or not patent, but created? In 1987. And this is the 36-year anniversary of 1987. Wow. You also got 83 connecting to that element, and that guy's initials RC right there, remember? That's nuts, bro. Like, that connection blows my mind. And not to mention the fact, just choose your weapon, that's on the door. Like, really?
Yeah.
With the
That's pretty
logo?
crazy. Is that the actual bowling alley? Like the one?
Yeah, that was the actual bowling alley, dude. Yeah, that's it. Look, it's right here. It says just in time. That's the location. Yeah, 100% it is. That's the actual bowling alley, brother.
What? That is weird. What's on the left there? They got like on the right they have a bowling ball and they have pins, but on the left that's not pins and a
I
bowling
don't know.
ball.
Yeah,
That's weird, dude.
it's very strange.
That's
I don't know what that's supposed to be.
suspicious.
It looks very bizarre to me, though.
Yeah.
Um, and he's a 40. Oh wow, I forgot about that part too. Shout out to Donut. He's 41 years old, and remember, 41 days after the 2017 Great American Eclipse, that was Route 91 Harvest Festival, the Las Vegas shooting event. And then Kobe died at 41. And 41 days later, Pop Smoke was killed and put in the ambulance number 41. And then the Georgia Guidestones blow up. R.C. Christian allegedly made them. And what was in front of the Georgia Guidestones? The bomb truck with number 401 on it. I
Dang.
think it's connected to President 41, who is Bush Sr., a Skull and Bones member. But then Alien is 41 too, brother. And when this rift happens and the elites try to shoot out in their rockets, that's when these other entities will be able to cross over, right?
Yeah. Hey, I also want to touch on getting into that voice to skull, and I have a theory about like amplification and plasma possession and stuff. But I have to excuse myself for just a sec while I
Oh,
check
no,
on my
you're
son.
fine. Go
And I'll
ahead,
be right
brother.
back. Okay,
Yeah,
thanks.
go ahead.
Okay.
Definitely, too, what Jay is talking about with this whole voice to skull situation. So think about this, guys, okay? This is patent, right? 1974. Well, we finished the whole MK Ultra programming in, I believe, 69. So then this gets patent. The first serial killer, the first official serial killer was 1973. The same year that the Yom Kippur War happened, the eclipse we just happened on October 14th. That was George Floyd's birthday, October 14th, who was born in 73. And the first official serial killer being connected to that year, I find very fascinating because Voices Call Technology comes out the next year, right? And then 77, 3 years later, we have the Summer of Sam. And what was that all about? Well, it was a serial killer that said a black dog told him to do it. Most likely some voice to skull technology that was telling you it was a black dog who was telling you to do it. And this guy, he reported the same thing. His family tried to get him help, they said, and all this stuff. But he was talking about he was hearing voices before this. So it's pretty crazy. And there's the 923 connection, guys. Just in time, 923. The earthquake is 923, and it was exactly 33 days after September 23rd until this shooting, which is 1 month and 13 days. And that number is 13 is the 13th card in the tarot deck, which is the death card, right? We've seen that connection as well to John Gotti's decode. Get Gotti. Well, let me show you. I did a very detailed one on this. Get Gotti. And there's a little mini documentary in here for you that my homeboy did. It's fascinating. It gets into the whole mafia and the formation. This is a newer one, but for all them people that are mafia fans, the Gambino crime family started with Carlo Gambino. He was the leader of, the modern day that gave him the name anyways. So see, we had the death card because what is the mafia? It's the M, and the M is the 13, which gets into MS-13. They're all controlled by the same people. And these are like the street branch of the Illuminati, the mafia answers to the Vatican, guys. And let me show you something real quick. Hold on a second. Let me show you this. Okay, I got it over here. Right here. All right, check this part out, fam. Hold on, let me get a drink. My mouth's dry as hell. Sorry about that. Okay, so Get Gotti, right? It comes out October 24th. And 10/24, so 2 days before the shooting pops off. And then, sorry, Jay. Are you
No,
back?
my bad. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine, brother. So Get Gotti comes out October 24th, and during the Ember months, right? And in season 1, episode 2, there's this part where he says, "My name's John Gotti. I will sever your head off." I'm not going to repeat that word because I don't want to get my video strike, but this gets into the whole decapitation motif and connected to the Ember rituals, which gets into FEMA camps. And you'll see the connection with the code if you read John Gotti's blog, how it's tied into FEMA camps and decapitation. It's kind of crazy because, that's something that shouldn't have no connection to that whatsoever, but it does. And so this day, 10/24 of 23, that is the day of the sacrificial love card out of the destiny cards, guys. This is out of the 52 deck of playing cards, right? It's called the Jack of Diamonds card. It's called the sacrificial love card. And that card equals 48, like simulated reality. And the upcoming eclipse is on 4/8, right? And then the scene happens where he's talking about, "I will sever your head off" at 2 minutes and 42 seconds in. Well, 242 is 2 times 112. Well, the Jesuits are in 112 countries, and 112 is targeted individuals. They will be the ones that end up in the FEMA camps. That the ones that say no to this whole Mark of the Beast situation, which we're not going to dive too deep into. But the other card that is connected to that day is the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is the 5th card of the major arcane in the occult tarot deck. It is derived from the historical card known as the Pope card. And look at the symbols on it. The X with the 2 keys. So you have the 2 key symbolism with the X, like the twin eclipses, and the whole, opening portals and gateways. And who does the mafia answer to, guys? The Pope. It answers to the Pope. That's who the mafia really is answering to. These mob bosses that, you get into the five families. You got the Genovese, the Bonanno, Gambino, Lucchese family, and ultimately they're answering to the Vatican for real. That's who's doing their banking and everything. And then when you this guy right down here, Vinny, his name is Genovese Vincenzo the Chin Galanti. I actually named my son after him because I'm a huge, I was when I was younger. Now I know the mafia, what they truly are, and they're pretty much into witchcraft. So I don't support no more. And when I'm decoding tarot cards, guys, I don't play tarot. I don't use tarot for fortune telling. I don't do none of that. I use it to decode because they use it to decode. It's encoded
Yeah.
in all their secret language. So that's the only reason I use it. I'm decoding with it. I'm not,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? It's not something that I partake in myself. But I just wanted to make sure I address that. Um, but yeah, these family bloodlines. But Vincent de Cingalanti, he ran the Genovese crime family, and he's so powerful, guys. You couldn't even mention his name or you would be killed. You had to touch your chin if you ever
Wow.
talked about him. Yep. And my son, that's his name, Vincenzo Mario Vincenzo. So we call him Vinny though, but yeah, he was powerful, man. And then you had Peter Gotti, John's son, which was, oh my god, he was such a moron. But you get into the older guys, and you get into Albert the Mad Hatter Anastasia, right? Who was probably, man, they hit him back in the day in a barber shop. Some people said it was this dude from the Colombo family. There's many different rumors on who really got him, but who set up John Gotti was Sammy the Bull Gravano. He ratted him out, and Neil Delacroce was the one that was supposed to take over the Gotti family when the old man Carlo Gambino died in 1976. Carlo Gambino, they called him the Fox. He never, this dude never got busted. I mean, he has so many political connections, but their construction company is the ones that built the World Trade Center. Like, that's crazy. And then him being arrested the year of 1968 in the connection to that's when they started building the World Trade Center. George
Yeah.
Bush graduating Skull and Bones that year. You
So
know,
the mafia crime family, they're the ones that funded like building the World Trade.
yeah. As a matter of fact, the Gambinos did. Yeah, the Gambino crime
Mm.
family. They ran all the unions, Jay, in New York. 100% they did, brother. And I find that very fascinating because there's a huge connection there to 9/11, and it just kind of makes a little more sense why they came out with it. Oops, sorry, why they came out with it right now, and what that's all connected to for real. And here's another crazy connection. Remember, I told you guys that it released on 10/24, right? Which is that sacrificial love card matching
Yeah.
simulated reality. So that made me think of 4/8, the day of the twin eclipse. And then the other card connected to it has the X on it, which also made me think of the twin eclipse. So I'm like, okay, let me trace from October 24th when Get Gotti came out until April 8th of 2024. I wonder how many days it is. And it's 168 days, which Masonic puppet is 168. And that's really what the mafia is. It's a puppet for the Vatican, right?
Right.
And the union that they controlled too, brother, in New York was carpenters union was 608. That's the year Gotti was arrested, okay, for the Northwest Airlines thing. The year 9/11 was made the emergency dialing code. George W. Bush graduated Skull and Bones. Fast forward 33 years, and George Bush is the U.S. president, and the towers fall to the ground. Now, 19 years later, there was 19 alleged hijackers. Rona 19 happens. We're on a 19-year
That's
Metonic.
interesting.
Yeah, we're on a 19-year Metonic moon cycle. It's all connected in numbers, brother. But
And
North,
in that bowling alley shooting, there was 18 victims, and then plus the shooter himself, and if you include him, that's 19.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't even think of that. Good catch. So chaos is 19, Jay. That's why they love that. If you type in chaos, and especially in that Chaldean cipher, which if you're going to learn gematria, guys, this is the one I recommend learning. Chaldean. It's the one of the purest and oldest. It's based on the 1 through 8 cipher. I actually wrote a full blog on it on Truth Mafia. Just type in Chaldean in the search bar. You'll see where it originated from, how they use it, how the whole Bible's encoded through it. So it's pretty interesting. And another chaos number in your basic English ordinal is 46. And right now we're on the 46th president. Plus, you take the 13 degrees of the York Rite Freemasons and the 33 of the Scottish Rite. You add them together, what do you got, guys? 46. And 46 is connected to your DNA. You got 23 chromosomes from your mama and 23 from your dad. It all ties back to the DNA, Jay. It's pretty interesting, brother, how it all goes back. But, anyways, the 68 thing, I found this very fascinating because, first of all, he's arrested for Northwest Airlines in 68, right? Well,
Right.
Northwest Airlines is 223, and we're in the year of 2023. Zero holds no value. Drop it. What do you got? 223. And
Ooh.
right. And I'm not going to say some of these words, but you see it right there. Died in FEMA camp 223, Skull and Bones 223, and then the next 9/11 type event will be out in San Francisco. And I'm not getting into that too big either because they'll try to take my page down, but shout out to the beautiful Golden Gates is all I'm going to say. And we just had the 322nd year anniversary of Yale University, which is that created Skull and Bones. And that was October 9th. And the weekend of that was Israel and Palestine popped off on the 7th, right? Saturday. 2 days later, Monday, this is the number one trending story in the world on their anniversary. So it's very fascinating. And then where he was at, bro, he got hit at the Ravenite, which Raven, the whole Raven coding with the
Yeah.
fall of the House of Usher. Remember that? They had the Raven, and what was her name in it? Her name was an anagram for freaking Raven. And she was some type of reptilian, Jay, that was from Inner Earth, brother.
Was
Did
she?
you? Yeah, dude. They said they went on a cruise and they found her through it was they mentioned the Thule Society
Oh
and
yeah.
said there was a civilization, and she told the one guy, Penn, yeah, you see me on the ice that day. I had to come up and look at you because you guys spent all this money on a cruise and you could have fixed all the problems in the world with that money. So I had to come up and look, and she said, you seen me with the Aurora Borealis behind me. So she alludes to she's some type of entity
Wow.
from Inner Earth.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about what maybe they're talking about, them entities from the Thule Society?
Yeah. So there's like the ancient Norse had a concept of the Thule, which was I mean, different people interpret it in different ways, especially if we get more into the modern world. But it's directly tied into like Hyperborea and a place that they really called Ultima Thule, right? Or like Thule or Thule, however you want to pronounce it. But it's tied into Hyperborea, and it's tied into an energy that also can be known as Thule itself. It's basically inner Earth energy. It's terrestrial energy, and it's spirit, and it's life, and it's I believe it's plasma or electromagnetic energy that is a part of the fountain of youth, and it's a part of the energy that charges our world and keeps everything alive and gives spirit and extends lifespans and stuff. So that oftentimes that's what like nobles and Hitler and other people were looking for, was this ultimate energy. And in order to do that, they had to talk to these beings that have access to that ultimate energy, which are inner earth beings or hollow earth beings. um you know, they have different descriptions, that they call them different names and stuff like that, but typically they're described as being very pale, you know, white, pale looking, and gigantic, and oftentimes like lighter complexions and stuff like that. But that's only one tribe. I would also say that too, because there's other tales of a lot of people who live inside of the earth that are red, actually, and that there's red people inside of the earth, and that's where the many of the native tribes have come from too.
Oh, that is very fascinating.
Yeah.
It, so I've heard of this. There's also, so I seen someone in the comments said the Vril, and yes, the Vril. Hey, you know what you're talking about. See, I love when I see people that really know, because it gets into the Vril and the Vril worm that goes. They say
Right.
that they were droning people and it was going through the eyeball and wrapping around the optic nerve, taking over the consciousness of the host. You know,
Bro,
some
that's where the word life comes from, is virile, or its strength, to be strong and have life and stuff is virile, or virility. You know what I mean? Like viril, that's where that comes from.
oh,
And
that's
then the whole like snake symbolism is also serpent symbolism, is also worm symbolism, right? Ultimately it gets back to the quintessential worm, which is the worm of life, which is the plasma strand. You know what I mean? It's depicted in so many different ways, but that's why it's oftentimes depicted as a worm. And sometimes there's different levels of this symbolism, right? On the surface, you can have just a worm and it can represent death and decay and worms that eat dead bodies and things like that. It can represent disease and bacteria and, you know, like having worms on your skin and stuff. It could represent dragons and the worms that come down from the sky, or the sky worms and fire worms and stuff. And also it can represent DNA, plasma, and stuff like that. But ultimately, it's plasma, the spirit form that is a shapeshifter. That's also the shape-shifting connection to, like, you know, all these worms and the reptilian connection and stuff like that. There's different ways to perceive all of this. It all depends on where we lie in that polarity. You know what I mean? Because a worm could be discussed as something positive, which is the worm of life, which is plasma, which is the letter nun in ancient Hebrew, or, you know, Phoenician and stuff. It's just a squiggly line that represents life, or whatnot. Or people could see it as something evil, because the evil people in this world, they use the worm or they seek out the worm. You know what I mean? It's all perspective.
Yeah, just like with numbers, how they take 666, which is a breakdown for our carbon, and they turn it into something evil, or 33, which represents the inner Christ, the Kundalini traveling up the
Yeah.
33 vertebrae connecting to our pineal gland, our third eye, and they pervert it. You know what I mean? With the worm, you also got the parasitic connection to Yal the Baoth in the
Mhm.
archons.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
Hey, I looked up that dude's name, the shooter, and it's Robert Card, remember?
yeah,
And it's interesting because it's like we're talking about the tarot cards and how they put like a card, almost like he's a card that's being played, you know?
like the Illuminati card game, dude. That's
Yeah,
what,
and Illuminati means basically those who have the light, right? Or the enlightened ones. And Robert goes back to two words that mean hrod, which means rod or beam, and then
oh,
berg, or better, means shining, basically. Berg means, it's where we get like the root of like a city, because we call it a berg, like Lynchburg, or I don't know what names the cities end in berg. But anyways,
that's
they end in Berg because they're shining places. They're where the lights came out of the earth, not because they have lights, because they're cities, and these places were called Berg before they had electricity. You know what I mean? So it has nothing to do with like, oh, it's a city because they have lights and electricity. No, it's because light came up out of the ground in that area, causing a fountain of youth locally where people gathered around and settled, and that's why it's called a
100%.
Berg. What's up?
I said 100%. You're so on point right now. That's why they build these cities on these ancient ley lines, because they're energy points, dragon lines on the
Yeah,
grid, bro. That was his name is connected to that. Great
yeah.
catch, Jay.
Yeah, he's the, I mean, and there's two ways to look at it too. So his name Robert, there's a positive connotation and a negative one. If you go back to the older form, which is Hrodberg, or Robert, like the word Bert, like Bert and Ernie. Bert means light, is the same thing, or shining. Hrodberg means the famous light, or it could be the infamous light, depending on where your perspective is. But the name Robert over time implied robbers, marauders, scoundrels, you know what I mean? Because people who came from the main light of the world, which was the Tartarians, the Hyperboreans, etc., who spread out when they were ejected from the Garden of Eden, or when they were cast out, or whenever the conditions in our world changed to allow them to leave because maybe that area in the middle of the world was overpopulated. They spread out and they left, and they became traders. They had a whole entire different way and of what they called normal for thousands of years. And then the energetic barrier goes down. They're released to the southernmost most portions of the world. And the people saw the people who came from the bar or the beam or the light or whatever, and they labeled them as merchants, traders, like the Tartarians and barbarians and things like that. And that light being from the light to the people who were not from the light, they saw that as a bad thing. Like those are the people that talk weird. They have different traditions than we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fascinating. And guys, for anybody on my channel over here, you can get Jay Dreamer's book. The link is in the description down below, and it's definitely a fascinating read on this subject. He's working on a second book, which will hopefully come out soon. I can't wait for that one, brother. And all
Yeah.
of his links are down below as well. We got a lot of cool projects coming out together. Jay's a good dude. I was happy to make him part of the Truth Mafia. And then me and you just vibe so well, bro. I love the whole arcade idea. That thing's super cool. I'm definitely into the retro 80. We created this
Yeah.
one right before we went live on AI. We just
All
told AI
right.
what we wanted, and it created that. So it's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Took
So,
us a few tries.
you care if I tell them about the idea on my website?
Yeah, no, tell them.
So I have an idea that I want to get like Tommy's website, truthmafia.com. I love it. I really love it. Like I totally promote that website. It's a great he went and took. You want to show it while I talk about it and stuff? So
Yeah.
he went and took I mean he's got his own blogs and stuff that he's writing. He's obviously putting his videos, but he's also taking, different sources of different, because we're all truthers sharing different perspectives. The more perspectives we can get on something, the better we can see the bigger picture for those things. You know what I mean? So he's got that area where it says channels, and there's all these different links, and you click on one of those and it brings up all these different people, including myself and different people, all of our different latest videos and information and stuff. And I like that. So on my website, I'm going to create an area called the arcade, which is going to be where we can live stream, right? So we'll live stream here on YouTube and wherever the other platforms are, maybe for like 30 minutes or whatever. And then we'll do what a lot of people are also doing, is jumping over to our own personal websites. So we don't have to worry about, like stopping and talking about code words and this and that or whatever. But mine's going to be called the arcade. And not only will you be able to watch a live stream, which is going to have a really cool setup, because that's how I like to do my website. As you can see, I like it very fun and interactive. But I'm going to try to get games in there so people can play games. There's going to be an interactive, it's not a chat, but it's going to be a comment section. The comment section is going to act as a chat, so you can basically chat, but you'll be able to like people's comments. So you can put a little heart if you like their comment and stuff. You'll be able to reply to other people's comments while we're doing our live stream. And if you missed the live stream, all of our live streams will be recorded and put up there, archived, and you'll be able to go back and still comment and still respond and still talk and stuff. And it's all time stamped too. So you'll be able to go and it'll timestamp exactly where you are, so everyone's caught up in the conversation and stuff. Yeah, this is my website right here. So that's just some ideas, and then we'll be able to bring in other guests and feature other people and stuff too. And then I want it to be able to be on if we can figure out how to get that, something like that, on truthmafia.com too, that would be cool too.
Yeah, and if we can't put it on Truth Mafia, I can definitely put it on Truthful TV, because Truthful TV is the same flat platform you're using for your website host. So I can definitely build a page over here.
Nice.
We got on Truthful TV, we got our own little social media page. This is where I do all the reading. So there's different like, see, you got Truthful TV, that's free. Truth Book is free, and then this is just for my people that paid for readings, they're in the diamond membership group. But people just share different videos, their own breakdowns, links to stuff. It's just a feed like that's on Facebook. And then this is where me and Paranoid American have our Conspiracy Cinema podcast. So everything we do on Conspiracy Cinema, you could just scroll over here, scroll down, all of our movie decodes, every single one of them
Yeah.
is right over there.
We definitely should jump on that Knowing movie.
Oh, we're going to, brother. And we're going to do that. Definitely do that together. I've been doing quotes too, bro. I've been doing my own little quotes. I got a whole book back here of quotes that I've made up. I do like a daily quote every day on my social media for my people. But yeah, I feel like I'm getting better at it. I always try to master whatever I get into. But yeah, I built Truth Mafia, guys. And trust me, first of all, it takes me $2.60 for every video that I pull, but I don't care because it's worth it. These are people I believe in. I believe in their content. And I have this all plugged into AI. Jay's seen it, how it was done. So my AI is pulling all these videos in real time. Boom, 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 boom. And then all I got to do, my AI transcribes it. It'll put whatever they talked about. But if I want to put a blog in there, I got to write the blog. I got to, my AI will put the keyword phrases and stuff, all that stuff. It'll put the thumbnail, upload the video. So it makes it pretty easy. I just got to add a blog to it or just share the video. For example, here's a channel that's on YouTube. It's called Harp, and they just share different natural disaster videos. So like with theirs, I did a full blog on this. The blog is mine, and it just breaks down climate control. It shows you all the documents behind HARP and chemtrails, and that this technology is real. Geoengineering is real, because some people think it's a conspiracy. So I like to show people the facts, and I always put the links to the articles so you can find all that, and just cool stuff like
Wow.
that. And then like if Jay Dreams does a video, right? Or one of the new people, B Dell, I just put him up there. He's fascinating, Jay. You would like him. He's pretty cool, man. He's got a whole theory how what's going on between Israel and Palestine right now is that's Dabo 7. Hold on, B Dell. Shout out to Dabo 7 though. B Dell has this crazy theory, and it's pretty cool actually. And he thinks the war between Israel and Palestine is the ancient war of these two brothers, Enki and Enlil, this Anunnaki war that's been waging for a long time. Yeah, he's very educated too, bro. He's got so much cool information. I love this guy. I could probably get him on with us too. Let me scroll down fast so I can get past that one part. But this is another blog I wrote, so I got to do the blogs myself. And then
do you have something in there about the sorry to interrupt you. Do you have something in there about the voice to skull technology stuff? Did you write one on that?
Yep. I'm going to come right back to it. But I also wrote a recap on Red October and all these different events, bro, that's taken place in October. I got to update it because there's so much more now. When I did this one, it was just 1 through 10. So I got to do another one showing. I mean, it's crazy how many events have happened in October. It kind of blows my mind. But yes, I did do one on that, and it was in this one. It was just, I touched on it, just showed some stuff about the voice to skull technology, but I could do a full article with the technology, showing the patents, the links to the patents, and everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, when you went out of the room, we were talking about it. When you went out of the room, I was telling them how they patented it in 1974. And check this out, Jay. So the year before it was patented was the first official serial killer, 1973. And that was the year of the Yom Kippur War. So this year is the 50th year anniversary of the Yom Kippur War. And Hawaii happened in the 50th state. It's also the 50-year anniversary of hip hop, which was founded on August 11th when HARP was patented on 8/11. HARP was patented on 8/11 of 1987. So it's kind of fascinating that serial killers happen right when this technology comes out. And then if you
Yeah.
remember, the summer of 77, brother, was that summer of Sam when he was talking to a black dog and the black dog told him to kill people. More likely, voice to skull technology was being used on that man. What do you think about that, brother?
I think that's very possible that there's technology to do voice to skull. And I mean it's super apparent using AI. They're hooking humans up, right? Their brains and their skulls and stuff like that to computers that have AI, and they're saying, "Hey, we're going to show a human a picture of an apple," and then the AI reads all of the little signals from the brain, and it just puts that in the apple box, and it knows whenever you emulate those exact same patterns or close to it, you're probably looking at something that looks like an apple. And that's just the building blocks. That's where it starts. Where before pretty soon, if you're able to be sensed, and there's many things that can sense things like frequencies and stuff like that. If you're able to be sensed by AI and computers and robots and stuff like that, then you're basically sharing your thoughts, because robots become telepathic in a sense that they can read the frequencies or the electromagnetics that are coming out of your actual brain, which is why. And it's not just robots. Okay. We do this with each other. Animals do it. We all do it intuitively. We just don't, most of us don't realize it or know it. I like that picture. That's cool.
I mean,
But
look what AI can do. It can create pictures. Now I could take AI, guys, and make it podcast, and it would be Jay Dreams podcasting. You wouldn't even know it wasn't him. It would speak in his voice, show his image. So
yeah,
yeah, it can do crazy stuff. But there's also plasma possession, right, Jay?
yeah, totally. Oh, so plasma possession is like whenever
Maybe
we
that's
have
what
this
he
sort
got.
of spiritual warfare here in this realm, right? There's good versus evil, and there's destruction versus life giving and growth and stuff like that. So many of the religions across the world and across time have made reference to this being a battle versus good versus evil, and that this battle would culminate in a time of the searing of people's consciousnesses. So our conscious, or which means with knowledge, right? Whatever knowledge, whatever programming we have programmed ourselves to have, whatever energetic signature that we have, the time comes where the world's energy becomes really amplified right before it pops. And therefore, we resonate with that amplification as well. We become amplified. Our spirits become amplified. Whatever energy and knowledge or experience, you could say, which is the same thing, is on the inside, is contained. It becomes the earth turns up the heat, so to speak, and it actually physically, literally turns up the heat. It turns up the heat, turns up the energy, and it makes it very difficult to like move to some side or another. Like basically it's a time of choosing. It's a time whenever our conscious becomes seared. And if people are bad on the inside, if they're negatively charged, then that becomes amplified. If they're positively charged, that becomes amplified. And that gives rise to what we experience now, which is on one hand, which is very minimal, the remnant of us that have a signature, or those people that have a signature of good energy, they rise amongst their ranks, prophets and preachers and teachers and gurus and all this type of stuff. So we see a huge influx in like an awakened sort of pocket of society, right? Not that they're all good people or anything. Okay. There's always weirdos even in that kind of stuff, but there's a remnant of really awakened, enlightened individuals that pop up during these last times or whatnot. But most of the people in the world are very negatively charged. And so that leads to World War III and murders and all kinds of stuff, where people start tuning into the voice of um, basically like a mother figure, I guess you could say. Let me explain this. So in the movie Friday the 13th, Jason, the serial killer, listens to his mother. He hears the voice of his mother, even though she's dead. Okay. She's way dead. He hears her voice and she keeps telling him to kill and to kill people and stuff. And he's listening to his mom, which is symbolic of this frequency, right? Which is the frequency that is in our world mostly, which is Satan. It's the devil. It's evil. It's bad, right? And even the Bible makes reference to this when it says that the ruler of this world is Satan. Like right now, according to the Bible, it says that the ruler of this world is the God is Satan. The God of this world is the devil right now. Okay. It's not always that way. And ultimately it's not, right? But there's an energy that permeates this world right now, and it's negatively charged because all the positively charged energy is recharging itself, being sucked into the bowels of the earth right now, charging up for the day of release whenever good energy floods into our world. And anyways, that's that negative energy that's in the air is becoming amplified. So people are like Jason Voorhees hearing the voice of mother, or hearing all of these strong suggestions to kill, to steal, to destroy, to follow after their father, which is that energetic signature, which is the devil or whatever.
Which could have been what this dude was hearing.
Right. Oh, Prince of the Air. Yeah. See, somebody in my chat, Corn Mom 2002, she said Prince of the Air. That's what they call Satan, the Prince of the powers of the air, the frequencies that are in the air and the atmosphere around us. That's a good one.
Prince of the Pot. She's right too. Shout out to her, Corn Mom. Shout out to you. I like that name, Corn Mom. It's a little different, but we love you, Corn Mom. And yeah, man, it's kind of crazy. I like looking at these different narratives because no one would have ever thought of maybe plasma possession. You know what I'm saying? That's the cool things like mind in your mind go to. Something totally different than the main narrative, because most people don't realize about the plasma apocalypse. But you can't deny what's going on now. Something's going on energetically. The atmosphere is charging up. We seen remember that video. I think I still got it on here. It's just that little clip from the Grand Canyon. Remember I showed it before? Is that one safe to share now? The little clip.
I think so. I mean, I totally copied that video and shared it on my channel, so I don't care.
Okay. See it. You can hear it.
Yeah. So you can hear the electricity, right? And see this, first, the thing that bothers me about the general public's reaction to this video is every other person is like, oh, you're stupid. That means you're going to get hit by lightning. Oh, okay. Can you look past that for a second to see the obvious, which is that we are looking at a physical, actual energetic barrier in nature, right? Women are touching a force field. Okay. Screw, they might get hit by lightning or whatever. They're obviously not getting hit by lightning. So, you know what I mean? Like, this is how indoctrinated we are, because they teach that kind of stuff in school. Like, hey, if your hair stands up, you're going to hit by lightning. And then that's the first thing. And people want to vomit that all over the place because that's the only thing they know about that. So they're going to say the only thing they know. Dude, let's look at something cooler than that, which is this is a force field. In nature, nature's capable of producing force fields right here in our world on the earth. There are areas that are places of power, areas where energetic electromagnetism builds up, right? And these, like you were referring to these as the ley lines, right? The dragon lines and stuff like that. And in these areas, and those areas are, they're subject to change. They can shift, they can move, I believe. But we have certain areas that experience like phases, just like the moon and the sun and the stars, as above, so below. So the grid lines and the ley lines and stuff like that, they go through their phases or whatever, which means they're cyclical as well, which means you're going to have certain people that are born in those places of power at certain times throughout history as they're all sort of shifting around. And those people have amplified spirits. And aside from that, my point is that this is a force field, right? And force fields are things that are supposed to be science fiction and not real and impossible, and they make them up. And we would be hard pressed to try to recreate that, but nature makes them. Our ancient writings and scriptures reference them. They talk about them. And we need to start reinterpreting these ancient writings, or it would be beneficial for us to, using things like comparative mythology, including comparing the mythology of the modern world. Everything that we accept as fact today will one day be a myth and will one day be a legend. So we need to include our world and compare the modern history of what we're experiencing and what we think we know today with all of what they thought they knew in their history a long time ago, and see what resonates and see what matches up. Like, for example, being kicked out of the Garden of Eden, a physical, actual, real place here on Earth in our world somewhere. And then it says that a force field went up over Eden, that there was a force field. I'm reinterpreting that. It really says an angel of the Lord with a flaming sword that went all directions, which is a description of electricity, right?
Right.
Sorry, that's just
No, I love it. I love it, bro. I definitely love it. I was looking at these images. I'm part of this group on Facebook. It's called Monitoring Nibiru. And in like I said, forever I've always believed in flat earth, but there is something weird going on in the sky, man. I don't fully understand it. It's the platinum. Me and you talked about earlier. Is this other, what they call a planetary object, or this other sun, is it maybe coming from inner Earth, right? Or is it within the firmament? I don't know. But all I do know, I'm not one of these people that act like I know everything. I'm trying to figure it out, Jay. I want to figure out what is going on.
yeah.
And I mean, I've seen the suns. I got pictures of it myself. Them are from me. These are my pictures. I've seen it with
Wow.
my own eyeballs. So other people have seen it, and people send me images all over the place. And I'm in the direct line of it here up in Ohio, which that twin eclipse, remember, we'll see signs in the heavens in the final days, and we're definitely seeing some signs, ain't we?
Oh, just the beginning of the signs. Yeah, it's going to get to the point where people are going to start getting freaked out because it's happening all over the place, and they're going to have to come up with a story, a narrative. You know what I mean? They're already prepping if you pay attention with that narrative.
Definitely are.
But the signs in the sky, pay attention. That's what the ancients paid attention to. They built structures that were designed to last until the next apocalyptic cycle, that would line up with the heavenly luminaries, track them, and know exactly where they were. It's not because they just thought stars were so cool to look at. Like, it wasn't observatories to just look at God's artwork in the sky. It was practical. It was practical in that it was their way of tracking the heavens so that they could know what time they were in, so that they could know when to prepare, so that they wouldn't get caught up and caught unaware of the apocalypse that comes cyclically from time to time,
Yeah, brother. Even in that new series we decoded, the one I told you about, the fall. I wish you would have watched that with me, bro. The Fall of the House of Usher. Even in that, in the opening scene, they're showing these three coffins, Jay, and there's these numbers right above the priest's head, right there, and the 578 number is Nibiru is coming, bro. And then the 624 number, all is interconnected. Economic collapse of America. Well, if Nibiru is coming and they know that, the economy will collapse. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah, dude.
Whatever it is,
when
plasma.
Nibiru comes, I just want to say this. I just want to say that I believe in everything. I believe that there is an element of truth in everything, no matter how crazy the conspiracy theories or the fringe ideas or whatever it may be.
Too, brother.
There's elements of truth throughout all of it. So Nibiru is going to come. Like, I'm on point with everybody's ideas and stuff like that. Like, I can talk about them. Nibiru will show up. There has been attested in history, all these different examples or historic events where people they cataloged it in stone, they wrote it down on paper, saying something showed up in the sky, right? Not just one thing. There's many people, they see all kinds of stuff in the sky, but you can tell what they're talking about because they describe it. This is a historic event. How we interpret it and how we see it individually based on our paths and our walks or whatever, that's fine. That's the flavor and that's the fun of being a truth seeker, is walking your own path. But something happened in the past. There's an event that had happened in the past. We're trying to interpret that event. Many people have their different theories and ideas or whatever. The one thing we all agree on is that happened. There was an object in the sky that came down out of the sky. There were beings up there in the sky that came down out of the sky. And it stands to reason, if the ancient writings are also agreeing on that time is cyclical and that there's nothing new under the sun, and as above, so below, what happened in the past is destined to happen again in our future if it hasn't already. It's going to repeat itself. So if there was a circular red object up there in the sky, or many, or whatever the stories, whatever they allude to, we will see those reappear. You will see those once again. It does, just because something happened doesn't mean it's gone forever. That'll never happen again. No, better expect it.
Yeah, you better. What did one of your people say? The stars will fall because the people will catch on to the lies that have been going on and will go after them. Yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I believe what Jay's saying is 100% true, that things that happened in the past are destined to repeat themselves again. And I also seen someone say that they were going to watch The Fall of the House of Usher. I highly recommend it because there's a lot of cool little
Is that a horror?
It is kind of a horror, but it was trending #1 in the world on Netflix. We decoded it. It's fascinating, Jay.
I'll check it out. I like horror stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty fast. There's a new one out right now too that I'm just getting into. What's it called? Hold on, let me pull this up. What is this one called? Make sure. Oops. Pause. Make sure there's no audio. Okay. Because I don't. Okay, let me share the screen on this thing. I had to make sure it don't start playing or something. Okay, here we go. Let me share this, guys. And then we did about an hour, almost 2 hours. So after this, we'll tie it up. But okay, so this is a channel I use. I watch everything free. Now, if you do use this channel, it's called fmovies.to. Make sure you're on the Brave search engine because it's a free movie site. So you'll get pop-ups and stuff, right? But it has all the new movies, any movie that's on Netflix, any movie that's in the movie theater, anything out right now, it's over here. And there's this new one out that I'm decoding right now. It's called Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, I'm so excited for that one.
It's so crazy, man.
Okay,
like
cool.
The opening scene, there's all this stuff on the wall, and we're in the year of the rabbit right now, Jay, the year of the water rabbit, right?
Yeah.
And there's all these rabbits and pizza. I'm not getting into the pizza part, but follow the white rabbit.
Yeah.
All that connection.
Oh, so, I can't believe this is out already.
It's like a horror, but it's very fascinating. I just started watching it.
Oh, I'm checking this out.
It's trending right now too.
Oh yeah.
That kid's in it. What's his name? I forget.
I didn't even know this was in the theaters yet.
But there's so much symbolism in it. When it starts up, hold on, where's that one part? The checkerboard floor is all through it. And the bunny symbolism.
This is out? Oh, how cool.
This
is what I'm doing tonight. I'm taking my boy to see this.
I can't find it on here.
Oh, yeah.
Right here. They put him in this machine. This is how it starts up. It's like a bear, a electronical bear. And whenever I see the bear, my mind always goes to Polaris for some reason. I don't know why. But, Kanye West, everything that was going on with Kanye. Where did Kanye go to high school at? Polaris High School. What was Kanye's symbolism when he first came out? The bear. And that's because Kanye represents the Great Bear constellation tied to Polaris. All the symbolism we're seeing right now in the shootings, in the movies, in the music, it all ties back to Polaris. So what's going on with that? I think it's the symbolism Jay talks about with the whole plasma apocalypse. And I think there's something here where the bear eats his face up. I think there's a connection to that too, but I really haven't figured it out yet.
Bro, do you know about this game that the movie's based on?
But yeah, guys, this site is phenomenal. You just hit like trending and you'll see everything I want Jay to watch this one too, Loki. It's all about the manipulation of time. And that I believe is about opening up portals and dimensions. This one I haven't seen yet. I guess this just came out. So yeah, and they also came out, Jay, with a new South Park movie. I fell asleep watching it last night. where all the South Park people are end up being females. Very
Yeah,
bizarre.
yeah,
Very bizarre. I don't know what's going on there because I fell asleep. They also got the Legos Marvel Code Red. And remember, me and Donut did a decode on all the Mountain Dew, right? So the Mountain
yeah.
Dew Code Red, Donut has a whole theory on this. You guys should go check out. Shout out to my brother, Donut Factory. And I got to show this to him. He hasn't seen it yet. Now they got the Legos Marvel Avengers Code Red. And also with this one, you see that symbolism of a giant coming out of a portal in the sky, right? This
Which
kind of
one?
reminds me of that what's it called? Cabin in the Woods, where they
Oh
had to
yeah.
do them rituals to appease the giants that lived in inner earth. Because if they didn't do these set of rituals, the giants would come up. Remember?
Yeah.
And it's that same symbolism, bro. These giants from this other time when there was more oxygen due to the vapor canopy or whatever it was, right,
Well, I
Jay?
think the Earth just releases oxygen.
Did I lose him?
No, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Oops, what happened? Are
I'm
you still there? Oh, I
yeah.
paused it.
Yeah, can
Sorry.
you hear me?
Now I hear you. You know what I did? I paused the sound. So yeah,
Oh,
this
okay.
the giant symbolism, brother Jay.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, well, the oxygen I believe comes up from the Earth. So the Earth is releasing gases right now. Oxygen's one of them, actually. It's coming up out of the ocean. And that's that gas release is separating the ground, causing earthquakes, which is giving rise to like more people noticing earthquake lights in the sky, which is all those gases becoming ionized that are released from the Earth. Which is also giving rise to more electromagnetic phenomenon and plasmoids being seen, UFOs being seen in the sky and stuff, ghosts, stuff like that. And then the oxygen will re-enter our world. So our world was inundated with oxygen. Academics says, you know, back during the time of before the dinosaurs, where there was giant bugs all over the place and stuff like that, they'll admit to that. It will happen again. The world will fill and refresh itself with a fresh supply of all gases that
And
produce life and create gigantism and stuff.
and they will end up with superpowers, just like we see on Generation V, right?
Yeah, I want to check that one out too. I haven't seen that one
Oh,
yet.
it's fascinating, dude.
Yeah.
Her power is the blood, bro. It's in her blood. She can manipulate blood. Like
Hmm.
it's crazy, which kind of shows you some real symbolism there because the power is in the blood. It is the blood. And that's what decides whether you're going to have these abilities and powers.
Yeah. There's
And
plasma in blood too, right? So there's that connection.
yeah, dude, it's kind of pretty interesting. And, there's a whole theory out there how the sun is reinstating ancient consciousness, activating certain 12 strands of angelic DNA, which is causing people to have special abilities as they're coming out with all these super movies now with
Yeah.
where people have. And in this movie, Jay, check this out. So there's this secret society in there of these older people, and they don't have powers. And guess what they're doing? They're kidnapping the supers with powers and creating a vaccine
Yeah.
that stops you from you having superpowers.
Yeah. That's this, bro. I've heard this damn story told so many times. Like that, they're telling us our history and our future and our past. This
They
is
are,
not
ain't
made
they?
up fiction and all that fun stuff. It's just a reminder. Like this is a reminder. This is what the world's really, what's really going on. Like in the X-Men, they had to create that little. They had to kidnap that one super powerful X-Men kid so they can use his genes to create like an anti-X-Men mutant,
Yep.
whatever it was, whatever.
Yep.
Bro, that's coming. That's on its way. It's on its way here. Have you ever seen the video game that Five Nights at Freddy's that the movie's based off of?
No.
Wow. So two recommendations. One is like if you just study the backstory of like what's happening in that game, these animatronics, the Chuck E. Cheese sort of animatronics or whatever, they come to life, which means they're plasma possessed, right? When the plasma
Wow.
comes in, brings inanimate objects to life, it gives them spirit. So
Yep.
they're plasma possessed. They're killers because that red plasma that comes in is when it possesses things, it basically is here to destroy and revamp the world. But anyways, in the game, the purpose of those things, why they're trying to get you, they're not trying to kill you. Actually, they're trying to take your skin and wear it.
Oh.
They want to wear your skin.
Oh.
Wait, is that it? Or do they shove you into one of their suits? Let me double check real quick. So Five Nights at Freddy's.
But that's really interesting that you say it. So it takes an inanimate object and it brings it to life, right? Well, that's very fascinating because I just did a decode called the Titan Code on Jewish mysticism and its connection to golems. And that's what a golem is. It's made out of clay and inanimate matter that is they put a sequence of words on its forehead and it animates, it comes to life, bro, which is probably plasma possession, within that symbolism, right?
Yes. So I think
That is so
in the Five Nights
fascinating.
at Freddy's game, they try to grab you, and I think they insist that they shove you into a suit or something, which basically kills you.
Oh
Anyways,
yeah,
it's really interesting.
that makes sense because that's what they did to that dude. They tried to shove him into, like, his face went into this bear, and it definitely didn't end well for him. That's how it starts out.
Yeah.
But that's a cool outlook on it, bro. I wouldn't even have thought of that, how they are plasma possessed.
Check this out, dude. There's another movie.
I love
What's
it.
the dude? Nicolas Cage. So there's a Nick Cage movie that's basically Five Nights at Freddy's, where gets hired to be a
I've
janitor at
seen
some
it
amusement
already.
park. You see that one?
Yeah, what's it called? It's just like it's exactly what you're talking about. The entities come alive, and Nick Cage is so weird in it too, but he does a pretty good job in it. He ends up,
Willy's Wonderland.
yeah, Willy's Wonderland. That's a good one too, guys. Willy's Wonderland. It's the same theme what Jay's talking about. And these are just weird movies that I like watching weird movies, but this Five Nights at Freddy's is actually kind of trending right now. So I was like, man, maybe it's good. And it started out so much occult symbolism. I didn't even get deep into it yet, but that kid that plays in it, I mean, he's a star in a lot of major movies. So I would imagine it's pretty decent.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go see it tonight.
Yeah, check it out. Are you gonna take your? Or well, yeah, that's one you can't probably take the kid to, right?
I do what I want.
Yeah, I take my son too. It's a scary movie. When my little dude was like 9, me and him went and see. Dude, he's into Freddy, Jason, all of it.
I almost decoded Freddy versus Jason the other day too. I might still do that.
Hey, listen, I'm telling you right now, I'm doing one for Halloween that I would love to have you part of, because my people keep requesting it, and we're gonna do a Freddy versus Jason one, me and Paranoid American. So if you want to get in on that,
yeah,
that would be fire, dude. Because
I'd love to.
Then we could decode the symbolism behind both characters. And Jason is a perfect example of plasma possession. I mean, remember when the lightning came in and struck his grave?
Yeah.
And I never thought of that until I watched you, Jay, before me and you became friends.
Yeah, that's what brings him to life.
You said something about during the plasma apocalypse, the dead will reanimate. And that just like sparked something in my brain.
Yeah, that's why you can't kill him.
Yeah, dude. That's tied to the rapture too.
It is.
Right?
Yeah, the judgment day, the day where it's also like I broke down the Addams Family recently. That's at the end. They do like Wake the Dead. They have a Wake the Dead thing where they make it look like they're just digging up dead bodies, but they're not. They're actually waking up the dead people and they come back to life. It's a zombie apocalypse. It's all that stuff.
Maybe all the zombie coding too. I mean, look at all these zombie movies right now. It's all that plasma possession symbolism, right? Just
yes,
pretty much loaded with the plasma symbolism. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And one more thing, guys, we were talking about that blue color. Remember, there's also a connection with the whole blue with the UN, and then the UN. Check this out. The UN has a location on the 33rd parallel. Now, we just had the 57 Super Bowl on the 33rd parallel in Arizona. And on that 33rd parallel, Mount Hermon, where the fallen angels descended to, there's an 8-pointed star up there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that portal symbolism,
Yep.
and it just reminds me of Shiva with the trident that destroyed the three worlds. Blue, there's a lot of blue symbolism behind. Maybe they're the Watchers or the Anunnaki. It says in the Bible the Nephilim are the sons of Anak. You think that might be connected?
Yeah, I do. Mount Hermon also is the mountain that they were said to have landed on, which is the quintessential like Mount Olympus, etc. So these are this is the location where they landed, right? And
Yep.
they're said to actually have been really white beings, but if you land on the holy mountain that's producing blue light or bluish white light, then you're going to
Oh,
reflect it and you'll look blue basically. And Mount Harmon, Har means mountain. Yeah, like in older languages, it means mountain.
does it?
Mon, yeah, Mon harkens back to the word moon, which means realm, basically, or world. But it's Mount Harmon is the mountain of the moon, or the mountain that's located directly under the moon. So it's not talking about the luminary or the hologram in the sky. It's talking about the physical, actual part of our dome or the firmament above that produces or projects the light that we call the moon. This
Yeah,
is the
that we
mountain
call
located at the North Pole.
the light that projects the moon that you definitely can't land on, right, Jay?
Yeah, no, you're not landing. You can't land on light. I don't know. Yeah,
So
you
crazy
can't
when
land
they
on a
say,
hologram.
"Yeah, we went to the moon and landed there." Did you though? Did you though?
Yeah, we did. We all did. Everyone. We
Now,
all landed on the moon.
you know what NASA and if you look at fact check, they'll try to lie and say, "Oh no, we didn't originate that word from there." Well, it's kind of funny. It sounds exactly like the word you use, though. There's a Hebrew word called nasha, and nasha it means to deceive, and it looks almost identical to NASA. So
True. It also means to lift up.
yeah, or it's yes, and it
So
can mean
that is different connotations. So to lift up, like to blast off, or
yep,
it can also mean to lift up, meaning like to be proud or haughty or things like that. Or it can mean lots of things, but those are some of the things that it does mean. It's
yeah.
definitely a word.
There's some of the different meanings of the, and that's the cool thing. I like to look into the etymology of the words and the meaning and the origin because we can find out so many cool connections there when you look into these actual, the because every word, just like a number, guys, it has an energy, a frequency, a vibration. And what is the
Yeah,
phonetic energy, the signature assigned to that vibration? That's what I like to figure out. That's where my brain goes. I'm trying to figure it out, because words, when we're saying words, what are we doing? We're spelling, we're casting spells.
that's
And they know,
exactly.
you know what I'm saying? They know this, bro. So they got us literally casting spells on ourselves. And we don't even realize it that words matter and there's power in words. It's very, very important to learn what type of energy you're putting your energy into. But before we go today, guys, for my people that are in the um, video, this is streaming to my Facebook, to my Rumble, and if this is the group I was telling you guys about that I'm part of. This little Nibiru group. I don't know whose it is. I just like to look at the pictures that have to do with the sun in here. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on in here though with the sun. I find a lot of crazy things. Where's that one with the last guy I wanted to show Jay real quick? Oh, I think I put it up last night. Hold on, let me see. I might not have though, because I fell asleep. Might have forgot. But if I didn't put it up last night, I'll get it up today. Them are old pictures right there that they're showing. Them ain't nothing new. Them are old. So some of the people you got to be careful because they are deceptive. They'll share some old pictures or something that they made up.
Right.
So you just got to be careful filtering through and finding out what you can trust and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
then
be discerning.
my group is Stranger Things CERN, which got like 10,000 members in it now. And let me pull, yeah, right here, Truth Mafia. This is my big page, 75K. I share a lot of stuff on here. This is streaming over here. So you'll see all the links in the description. My boy Jay's books right there, Jay Dreamer's website. And this is the same description as on YouTube. You see this one, the Ultimate Decode. So if you want to get a reading, a breakdown of your exact energetic signature, and whether you're living, if you're a first player character living within the simulation or a non-player character, because believe it or not, there's a whole lot of non-player characters. And they're all around us, guys. You just click on that link, go right here, see this one, book reading. It's all done via email. And you just check the availability, click on the date you want it, boom, boom. The most important thing when you do this, though, make sure you fill it out right. Put right down here, put your date of birth, and name, your maiden name. So I need your first name and your last name. That's very important. If you don't put that, how am I going to decode you? You know what I'm saying? So I don't need your middle name. All I need, date of birth, first and last name. That's it. And then this stuff is just for, you know, to be able to, because it's a secure checkout through PayPal. So they need the other information, not me. That's just to make sure your card is legit and everything. And you just click on here to continue. You can pay offline on Cash App too, if you feel safer with that. If you do that way, just make sure that you message me, my cell phone, 234-425-2099. Show me a screenshot that you paid for it and your email where you want me to send the decode to. Or you can email me at truthmafia117 at proton, proton .me. But see this, how you can pay with debit card. So you still have your email in there. You just hit pay with debit card and you're checking out as a guest. You don't have to have PayPal. Just check out as a guest. It's that simple, man. And I'll do a full breakdown on you. It'll cover your life path number, your birth cards, your destiny cards, your gematria. We'll decode your name, see what that's connected to, see how it ties into your life path number. And then when you find out, okay, so your two birth cards, if your birth cards line up with your life path number, then you're definitely a first player character within this simulation we call life. If it doesn't line up, it can mean one of two things. You're, in the very rare instances, you're a Neo character if you have a master number as your life path number. Without the master number, if you're just like a life path 4 and you have 3 birth cards instead of 2 and they don't line up, well, that's because you're a non-player character. And I've wrote a whole book on it, break it down in full detail. I have a whole decode on it showing you the connections there. It's pretty fascinating. But I also did this last night, Jay, which reminds me a little bit of what you're talking about, and Tataria with the bells, how these frequencies, there's something connected to bells and frequencies in Tataria. But this one that I did, look at this, bro. This was from.
Oh, my bad. I didn't know I was muted.
Oops, sorry, right here. This is from the 1500s, brother Jay, and it shows people sword fighting with electricity, dude.
That's awesome. What? You got to send that to me.
I will. What the heck is going on here, dude?
I got to check this out. That is super interesting. Look at that.
I thought so too.
Hey, the bells are related too. They scooped up all those bells.
Did you see all them bells, brother? So
yeah, thousands of bells, bro. They took them all. They confiscated all of them. Why? I broke this. I referenced this when I was breaking down the movie Troll. I don't know if you saw that movie Troll on Netflix.
No, sir, but I'm fascinated by this bell stuff. Why did they take them all?
Bro, the bells, they deter trolls and giants and stuff like that. Like the sound and the frequencies, they would ring these bells to get rid of the giants because it would hurt their ears or whatever. It would make them nauseous or something. And they had bells in churches and towers and stuff all over the place. When Germany swooped on through, they scooped up, they collected. That right there with all those bells. That's just a portion. They collected hundreds of thousands of bells across the country to get rid of these frequencies.
And do you think, I think Germany, like what happened with World War II, I think they didn't tell us everything, dude. No. You know, there's a whole video. I'm not going to say his name because we might get flagged, but the guy that ran World War II in the German army with the funny mustache, that guy.
Yeah, Voldemort.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Voldemort. There's a video, dude. It's actually on my Rumble. And it's where he sees Nibiru in 1938. And then there's a whole connection there, dude. It's very bizarre. It gets into this, the, what's it called? They killed this guy for coming out and talking about it. He worked at the Vatican. Oh man, Malachi Martin. Look into Malachi Martin and this information. It just gets into what Jay's talking about, how these secret societies guard this information and the true knowledge of what we truly are, this Hyperborean race
Yeah,
and this ancient civilization, man.
bro, all these frequencies are key. They're so essential, and we've most of us have just forgotten all about frequencies, that were made of frequencies and how important frequencies are. But they're tuning out certain frequencies and they're tuning in certain other frequencies. And one of my theories is that there are the powers that be that want the hell out of here. Okay, this place is a house of death. It's constricting, it's lowering everybody's lifespans, their sicknesses were at full force. They want the apocalypse to come, they want to release it so that they can get out, or if they're going to stay here so that they can, not die or whatever, which makes sense to me. But the bells are also directly related to the dome and the firmament and the sound that is made during the apocalypse that people interpret as like the voice of God and stuff like that. And it's also related to the moon ringing like a bell, allegedly, whenever they, allegedly hit a rocket, hit it with a rocket or whatever, like the story goes. But the bells are all frequency, and they're all related to churches and music and cathedrals and organs that play, and these places of power that emanate energy. That's a certain vibration that empowers and promotes peace and happiness and tranquility, and alleviates anxiety and stress and fear and anger and things like that. And this was common knowledge, I believe, at a certain point in our past, in our history, but it's all being seeped out and sucked out of us. And many of us have just forgotten. like, and so we look into the past, and your average person might see a picture of thousands of bells being collected by, ancient Germany or whatever in a field and be like, wow, that's weird. And just leave it at that. Wow, look at that. Isn't that strange?
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all the
And they'll
talk you
say,
get.
they'll say,
Like,
oh, they gathered them up because they were made out of brass, or no, they didn't, man. You know how much gold they had, anyways. They stole everybody's gold. They gathered them up, most likely because what Jay said is really the reason why. And also, guys, down in the link of the description, you'll see this link that says Tommy Truthful social media. It'll take you, or you can just go up on Truth Mafia where it says featured videos, and up there how it scrolls through the different images. Whatever video I want you to see will be pinned up there. And there's all my social media links, so you can follow me on all the different platforms. There's where you book a reading as well, and it's just real easy for you. Follow them all. But yeah, Jay, I think you're so right, brother. Um, with the different frequencies and stuff. I mean, that's what we are, bro. We're frequencies. So
yeah.
it,
Sorry,
and the
I keep
plus,
pushing us further and further out, bro. I know we got to wrap it up. I think we probably should, because I want to go see this movie anyway with my boy and make some lunch and things. So
yeah, we did 2 hours, and the whole 2 hours, bro, we've had 500 people in this live the whole time.
wow,
Yeah, that's
wow,
just on here, not counting Rumble. So shout out to all you guys. We really love y'all, and thank you guys for coming over. Shout out to all Jay's followers. We love y'all too. There'll be a lot more lives with me and Jay together, and we just had a lot of fun today. So check out the movies we recommended, guys. Hit that like button. To my people, go over and subscribe to Jay Dreamers. Check out his book down, link in the description. Check out all of his channels. All links are in the description. And we're out, guys. We love y'all.